Coach will do an opening statement. Please raise your hand for questions.
Have to give Missouri credit. They pretty well beat us in all three phases of the game. They outcoached us, they outplayed us, they outhit us, out-toughed us. They executed better than we did. Had less turnovers, scored touchdowns in the red area, took advantage of the mistakes that we made, created negative plays for us on offense, and made explosive plays on when they had the ball. They done a really good job at the quarterback position, a lot of RPOs. You play them man-to-man. We didn't cover them. You played them split safety, handed the ball off. And we didn't do a good job tackling. We didn't win a lot of one-for-ones. And you look at it on the other side, when we had the ball, lots of times we had the same plays called and didn't do a good job blocking them. When they had split safeties and we handed the ball off, they defeated blockers and was able to kind of eliminate our run game. Probably the biggest difference was third down. I think they were 7 for 14 on third down, and we were 2 for 10 or 12, something like that. So to have a chance to stay in the ball game killed us there. I think right before the half, the score's 19-10. Got a good drive going. It's the whole deal about 2 minutes before the half. There's two things that can happen. You can run the clock out, or you can punt the football, or run the clock out and go in at half. We had an opportunity with some field position. Had a chance to put some points on the board, and we make a bad throw. And they run it all the way back, so it's at least probably a 10-point swing there, which puts us down by 16. Offense does a good job coming out, gets a score to start the second half. But just didn't really stop them defensively. Really didn't. So we'll have to go back and regroup, and we got one more game to play, and it's a game that means a lot to a lot of people around here. But the only thing I can say is Missouri outcoached us, outplayed us today.
David.
Dre, how would you kind of describe you guys' defensive game plan tonight? How do you feel like kind of went wrong?
Well, the way the game's got now, everybody's running whatever run play they want to run, and they're running glance routes or double slants or whatever, out routes. They can run whatever, and if you got more in there than they can block, they throw the ball, and if you don't, they run the ball. So today, the few times that we were even in the box, we didn't stop them. They handed the ball off and gained 7 or 8 yards, and then you kind of combat that and say, heck, we're just going to play them man-to-man, and we didn't cover them. So it's kind of pick your poison. Same thing happened against Alabama. The teams that can run the football effectively and have a quarterback that has experience, that can handle disguises, keeps them out of negative plays, which their quarterback done a really good job today doing that. So that was a big thing.
Jimmy and Steve.
Jimmy, update on Jerry Garantano, and how did his absence affect what you tried to do on offense at all?
Yeah, I hadn't seen the docs yet, but Kellers takes every rep that Jarrett does. They split the reps, so we moved the ball there. Just had a couple of turnovers that hurt us. One time down there had to settle for a field goal. So you take away the turnovers, which unfortunately is part of the game. You got a chance to, put some points on the board there, but we didn't really change our plan based off quarterback.
Steve and Wes.
2 weeks ago, you performed well at all against Charlotte. Last week, over 200 against Kentucky. And this week has struggled again. What's causing kind of the up and down nature of the rushing attack?
Well, when they got more in there than we can block, we don't need to be running the ball in there, which we did multiple times tonight. And we got to have ways that we can spit the ball out on the perimeter, whether it's bubbles, slants, glance, stabs, whatever you want to call it. And we didn't take advantage of that all the time, So when you got 6 to block 7 and you hand the ball off in there. And even if, hey, you're 6 guys, some days, your 6 guys can get on the 6 guys and win, tie, whatever you want to call it. And maybe you're not good enough to beat the one extra guy, and then sometimes maybe you are, but we wasn't today.
Wes?
Some of the tackling issues in space today, is that something that kind of surprised you a little bit, or is that kind of the way we do plays and gets you exposed and just the way it goes sometimes?
No, I think if you probably go back and look at the games that we didn't tackle the best, is probably maybe who we're playing against. I've said all along Missouri was 6-4. They had 2 games that probably they would have liked to have back. And they played Alabama and Georgia as close as anybody in our league. They got a good football team, got a good quarterback. They're big up front, got good tight ends, good runners, good on defense. They do a good job. So, and we didn't execute well enough today to give us a chance to win. We needed to execute at a high level. Couldn't turn the ball over. We didn't get but 1 turnover. So, and just left some plays out there probably on both sides of the ball. I think maybe the speed that they played with offensively probably affected our guys defensively a little bit, whether it was fatigue, whether it was poise and adjustments, making calls, because we really hadn't played against anybody that went fast in a while.
Jeremy, just coming off of how well you guys played last week, what do you make or how do you explain maybe some of the inconsistencies we've seen from these teams here?
Well, sometimes the score don't actually dictate how you play. When you go back and look at the game last week, we made 50 mental errors on defense. It just didn't get exposed. I don't know if we made 50 mental errors today, but I do know we had some that were critical, and you can't do that. We had chances to get off the field, and we didn't do it defensively a few times, which I felt like we should have based off what we had called and the play that they ran. And, again, our margin of error is not large enough. Our offense after the first quarter moved the ball some, put some points on the board, but it's just the turnovers giving us short fields, Got to be a little more consistent on both sides of the ball.
Patrick, then David.
Jeremy, it looked like you stopped the team during the ball walk, gave them the talk. Are you trying to pump them up? Or are you trying to make sure they didn't come flat? What was your
No, I just want them to see who they represent. I want them to see who they represent. The people that come that support this university, that have pride in the Tennessee football program and the university itself, that it's bigger than these guys. We win 1 football game or 2. We win 2 games in a row. And I wanted to make sure that they looked around, because it's a pretty huge sight to see all these people with orange on standing out there to watch these guys walk. So I just want to make sure that they understand who they represent. It's not about them. It's not about me. But we need to make sure that we leave it better than we found it. And I just want them to see it and understand it. It didn't work, but I want them to see it and understand it.
David.
Jeremy, how would you describe the guy to Keller tonight
Well, we turned the ball over a couple of times. He made some good throws, Keller's a hard worker. He's been great for our program. Our kids love him. He's a good leader. And he's got some experience. I know there's a few throws he'd like to have back, but he done a good job moving the ball. He's got toughness. But, we just there's a couple of plays there that we turned the ball over that probably hurt us a little more. And if it wasn't for those plays, he probably done a good job.
Yeah, I think Mark Perez also.
No, I didn't talk to the doctor before I came in here.
Last couple, Jesse, then behind him.
Just follow on Keller, on that interception to Callaway, was that a miscommunication between the 2 of them? Did he come back to the sidelines and just say that was a bad throw? They faked an all-out blitz, and they, instead of playing blitz coverage,
I'm pretty sure they played in the middle of the field man. You know, I think early in the game he had hit Jawan. Maybe when they were playing press man, just dropped it over in there to start one of the drives. It was just a poor throw. I mean, just made a poor throw. Made a good decision where he was throwing the ball, just didn't execute it.
In the back.
I think I was gonna ask about injuries.
Okay, thank you. All right. Thank you, Coach.
Oh.